Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, this might look a bit familiar from the place we were last time, but this time we got something kind of special going on over here. So last time we were range testing the stock battery with the bypass, but as you may be able to tell, that is not the stock battery. So today we are going to be testing one of our prototype batteries. We expect some more protos to come through, but for now this is going to be the one we're testing. So the specs on this one, it is a 48 amp hour battery, so you could expect 50% more range just strictly based on the numbers. And then it's got about double the power as the stock battery. So definitely more power, but as many of you who watch our videos know or just understand batteries, you can't create power out of thin air. So the more power you use, the less range you're gonna have, even if you get, a bigger battery. So keep that in mind. But today we're gonna be running at about 8,500 watts. So a little bit more than bypass power. And we're gonna see how far we can go. Last time we were here, I think we did about 12 miles with a little under 50%. This should definitely be able to beat that, no problem, but we'll find out, and I'll do some talking about our plans for batteries and what's available in the market right now, and we'll go from there. Oh, there they are. All right, so before we go, looks like I have gone about close to 6 miles now, and I've only used 12%. Now, a lot of that was on the road, and getting up here I wasn't, getting on the gas or anything, but that's where we're starting as our baseline, 88%, 65.3 volts, and let's get after it. So, batteries that are entering the market now, a lot of people are coming along starting to offer things, and it's no problem for us. We want to release a good product at a good price point, so we're not worried about it, about others entering the market and us trying to get there quicker or whatever. We're going to take our time, release a good product, and that's our plan. So batteries that are entering the market right now, Tri-Battery Systems, pretty big name in batteries for one wheels, just released their 60 volt. I don't know a whole lot about it. I think it uses pouches instead of cells, and there's advantages and disadvantages to those, but if their claims are true of a 63 amp hour battery that fits in the stock compartment and it can do 180 amps continuous, that's an insane battery. Like, that's extremely efficient. I don't know how they use the space that efficiently, but they did, and honestly the price reflects how good of a battery that's going to be. I think the price is around $2,200 without shipping, definitely above the price point we were looking to enter at, but it's also, a better battery than we were going to release. We were looking at this battery, 48 amp hours, 180 amps continuous. We have another one coming that's 55 amp hours, I believe, and that one will also fit, like, basically in the stock compartment. You need a little spacer for the latch, and then that one can do 165 amps continuously, so a lot of power out of that one too. And that one can actually burst at a pretty high power too. You can go about 250 amps for 20 seconds, so definitely excited to get our hands on that battery. Test that one out alongside this one. So the reason that we're going to be testing more batteries and not just going with this one is because this battery actually has gone up significantly in price. We said that we were going to try and sell it for $1,800. And you know, originally that would have been a really good price point for what it was, but now we can't even get the battery for $1,800 because the cell prices have gone up so much just since ordering this. So that's our hesitation at the moment for selling this, is that we would have to raise the price considerably from where it was at, and we don't really want to do that because we'll just get crushed by the bigger guys out there who can afford to have a smaller margin and, you know, make the batteries themselves and whatnot. And we just want to release, you know, the best product at its price point. We're all about getting a good value. Like, yeah, you can get a really nice battery with a stainless cover and whatnot, but if you're paying $2,500 and we can get you the same battery just without a nice case and display for $1,600, we're the kind of guys who would go with the $1,600 option if the only real difference is some aesthetic choices with the cases. So that's our plan for that, but it's always a work in progress. So just dealing with manufacturers and things like that, you know, they have to make money too, and with batteries there's not a whole lot of margin as prices are increasing because they can't absorb it all, so they have to pass it along to us, and you know, we can't absorb it either, so prices have to go up somewhere along the line. This battery, man, is super impressive though with the power. I know a lot of people, we say it all the time on our channel, get this like strange idea in their head about how much power they want, talking to us like, oh yeah, I wish my SurRon had 20 kilowatts, need a 72 volt battery, all this, yada yada. Like, until you ride a SurRon with even 10 kilowatts, the power is insane. 20 kilowatts is not rideable. And now I say that with the assumption that you're riding off-road, because that's kind of who we're trying to appeal to, is off-road riders, not road riders. Yeah, you can probably use the power a bit better, 20 kilowatts anyway, if you're riding on road. But again, you also have to take into consideration the fact that the motor can't handle 20 kilowatts, even if you can put it down on the road. So yeah, maybe the battery can do it and the controller can do it, but the motor certainly can't. Ooh, boy. Smells like horse. Let's go back the other way. So I was getting it pretty good there, and that was 2 miles from where I started, and we dropped 4%. So like I said, battery is very impressive. So where we're at with this second prototype battery is we're going to be using, oh, I just drove through so much horse shit. Yeah, we're going to be using Tesla cells, 21700. And a lot of people don't really understand the whole like cell naming thing, so I'll break it down for you. You've got the 18650s, and the name 18 is, I believe, the diameter of the battery in millimeters, and then 65 is the height of the battery in millimeters. So a 2170 would be 21 in diameter and 70 in height. And it's kind of a marketing thing, and I'll explain why. So they'll release a new battery, right? And say, oh, this battery can store 3 times more energy, yada, yada, yada. But then you think about it and you're like, hold on a second. The 2170 can store more energy. The battery is way bigger than an 18650. So they do that so that they can claim these big things about the gains in energy storage and all that, leaving out the fact that the battery itself is bigger, so you can fit less of them in the same volume, which means that the range, or the capacity increased on a per cell basis, comparing like a 18650 to a 21700, per cell basis might be 30% more capacity, but if you can only have if you only have 15% less cells in your battery, then really your capacity increases 15%. So a lot of it is marketing jargon and bullshit like that. And then the newest battery, the 4180, I believe, that battery is considerably bigger than the 2170, and they say things like, you know, 5% capacity increase. You know, if you know about cells and their press releases and whatnot, you know how much hype that they put on range and energy increase. But what you should really be looking at is the range increase is partial. I'll give it that, and I will say that there is a range increase year over year by volume. But what really matters with these new cells is the charge time. And they have, any lithium cell has a ratio of how much energy it can output, the rate of energy output, so how many amps you can continuously draw from it, versus the capacity of the battery. So as the capacity of the battery goes up, you can, and I'm talking about a cell on a per cell basis, as the capacity of the cell goes up, the rate in which you can discharge energy from it goes down. So you have to find the fine line. Do you want more capacity, or do you want your battery to output more power? And these newer batteries, the thing that they're getting to be able to do is, the new batteries, what's happening is they're getting more capacity in a cell while also being able to discharge more energy in that cell. So the new batteries take up more room, but they have more capacity and they can release more energy. So battery tech is still, you know, I mean, it's plateauing, but there's still new innovations every year. But what I was getting at was that these really new batteries, like the 4160s, the Tesla's releasing, are impressive in regards to the charge times. So, for example, the batteries that are in the SurRon stock battery, Panasonic cells, those can charge at a rate of like 10 amps continuously per cell. So that's pretty slow. What you do is you take the amount of amp hours that are in the battery, divide that by 10, or divide that by your charging rate, which is 10 on the stock battery, and that gives you how long it takes to charge it. So the stock battery is 32 amp hours, and that means if you're charging at 10 amps, it takes 3.2 hours to charge the battery. Well, these new batteries, what's so cool about them is how quickly you can charge them. So what they're trying to do, I mean, for electric vehicles specifically, is make it so that you can stop, grab a bite to eat, and your batteries can be fully charged. People are caring more about charge time right now than capacity, because the capacity is pretty good on these batteries. I mean, I don't know how much people expect a battery to put out or how much it can hold, but the fact that I can ride this thing 30 plus miles off-road, riding pretty freaking hard, and this battery is like fits in between my legs, that's incredible. So where they're going from here is faster charge times, because the capacity is starting to reach a point where it's not increasing at the rate it once was. But they can mitigate that issue by charging it quicker. So that's what I think cell companies like Tesla are starting to do. And the battery we're testing now is an 18650, which is still really good technology. But this next battery we're going to be testing is 2170 cells, which will be even better. So really looking forward to that. And back to this intersection, some of you may remember from our last video. Maybe we'll go explore a bit. But right now we are at 10 miles and still at 76%. So I mean, break that down over over, you know, a full battery cycle, that's like 40 miles, which is insane. Obviously, at the end of the battery's life, you don't really want to be pushing it, and you have a lot more voltage sag and things like that that are not good for the cells. But overall, I mean, how could you not be impressed with a battery that fits between your legs and can take you 40 miles off-road? And by the way, I mean, if you noticed on our intro, we're running the Wicked Wheelworks setup, so a lot more weight on the tires, and also we're running more power, so more power draw as well, and seemingly it's not an issue. Another thing, we're riding in sand too. I mean, this is not what I would consider to be hard packed by any stretch. So a lot of things working against the range, and it's still very, very impressive in my opinion. The power is crazy. If you haven't watched our video testing the Wicked Wheelworks setup, I strongly urge you to do that, because it sounds super dramatic, you know, hearing what we say about it. And, you know, people think, oh, there's no way. You add some different wheels on there, a little bit bigger wheel in the front. How much of a difference could that really make? Let me tell you, it cannot be overstated. It feels like a completely different bike. Riding on this super loose, blown out stuff, I've never once been like, oh man, I wish I had more traction. There's so much traction now that it literally bogs down the bike before the rear wheels spin, which is crazy. And the way it just goes over rocks and stuff, I mean, it's like they're not even there. I'm trying to find a way around this damn fence. I'm gonna get out and explore, but it does not appear to be an obvious route around it. Gotta love BLM. Because I can see roads, like right there. The question is, how do you get to them? I don't know. So, as far as when we were gonna sell these batteries, we don't know. We get a lot of emails, you know, asking people like, when are your batteries gonna be available? I'm holding out on buying other batteries, waiting for yours. We'd say just buy what you want to buy, man. Like, we're not gonna rush this, and we're not gonna have any hard dates until we have a tracking number and something is being shipped to us, because it's not really fair to our customers to tell them we're gonna have something and they're counting on it, and we don't truthfully know whether or not it's actually gonna be ready by then. So what we say is, don't wait on us. Do what you gotta do. If you need to buy a battery right now, don't wait for ours. It'll be out soon, and it'll be a really great battery, but we're gonna take our time with it and really test it before we just go releasing something that expensive. And yeah, I mean, that's our plan. We hope we can get it out quick. But everybody knows with what's going on right now and supply chain issues, makes it even harder than it would already be normally. And it's already hard normally, so we're trying our best. This trail I haven't looked at yet. Let's go up this way, see where it takes us. These things are absolute rocket now. This battery is so crazy. Oh yeah, man, we're getting it right now. So this is like straight sand that we're riding in right now. So for most circumstances, I definitely think we could get going a bit faster, but not when the sand is this deep. I mean, look at this. It's like real sand at the beach. It's deep. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what our testing procedure is for any of our products. Just get out here and hold her freaking wide open and see if we can get it to shut off or overheat or do something. But I mean, we're running it at well, it's a little more than 8,500, running at like a little over 9,000 actually, and I just went full throttle for a while there. Reached down, touched the controller, and granted it's like 38 degrees outside right now. It's freaking cold, but the controller is like maybe 50 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. So we're running a lot of power, we're holding her wide open, and the controller is not overheating. If you're a bigger boy, running more power, maybe, but again, as we always say, the motor is going to overheat long before your controller does. The traction with these tires is really helping being able to ride this stuff so aggressively. If you remember last time I was here, it was a little damp and I could not even ride it this quick, so this is huge. I mean, we're freaking moving. Trying to get this thing nice and warm. She's not even, can't even hardly tell. Woo. Man, what a view. These trails, so pretty. So that's kind of my spiel on our battery and batteries in general and what the market's looking like right now. Might just shut up and ride for the rest of this video. It is pretty freaking hard to ride fast and talk at the same time. Trying my best here, so excuse me if I'm very rambly, but try not to eat it and trying to deliver good factual information in a concise way. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking fun. Probably gonna be my last lap up and down this, but give you a good range report at the end here. We're already way better than stock. I mean, we've gone over 12 miles and we're still 75%. The stock battery was below 50 at 12 miles, which coincides pretty accurately with a 50% range increase as it is expected by a 48 amp hour battery instead of the stock 32. Up this way. Meander up. Woo, nice. Never ridden this trail before, so excuse me, my line choice is garbage. Trying my best to provide entertaining footage, not eat it. Oh my god, it's so fun. Woo. This way we go. not just be riding like this. It's gonna be real hard to explain how this is 750 watts. So we're going like 45 through this basin right now. Oh my god. Whew. Gets the arm pump flowing for sure. Definitely leaving a good smoke screen. If anyone's trying to find us, it's not going to be hard. So, I just held it seriously wide open at 9,000 watts, like all the way up that hill. That was 2 miles. And this controller, it's warm, maybe 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you were curious, the controller does not shut down until it hits 90 degrees Celsius. So we're like not even halfway to the shutdown temperature, riding that hard. So all those people out there, on a really hot day, yes, it can get hot if you're holding it wide open, but the SurRon rated motor is only rated for 8,000 continuously. So even now I'm riding the SurRon motor technically at a higher power level than it's rated for. So if you're doing that, you're taking your own risk. We understand the risk. We're not advising that anyone do what we're doing, but we're trying to find the limits for you guys. You don't have to. Riding with a 64-tooth sprocket also really helps. Yeah, with the battery or with the controller staying cool, takes less energy to rotate the back tire when you got that bigger sprocket on there, which we recommend, of course, because with the controller you can hit over 60 miles an hour on the stock battery. And one, the SurRon chassis is not even meant to hit 60, and two, even if it was, there's not a whole lot of like tight trails that the SurRon's really good for, where you want to be going 60, so take that into consideration as well. But like the trails I'm riding right now, with a gasser, you could definitely go faster. But if you're riding these kind of trails, like the SurRon's great, and you can see how much fun I'm having. But if you're the kind of guy who wants to hold it wide open and go 60 or go 80 or whatever, really consider what you're buying here. This thing, like anything else, has limitations, and you'll find them quick if you're an experienced rider, and just like us, you may spend a lot of money to get it where you want it. And frankly, I don't really feel the need to go above 60 miles an hour. Authorized personnel only. We'll conclude the ride here with this massive rock pile in the background, some great view of the Sisters Mountains there in the distance. So 15 miles, we're at 57%. We're running way more than stock power. We're running much beefier, heavier tires, and we're running in the sand, and it's freezing cold. So like basically everything that could be working against the battery is. And we just rode 50 miles. You saw how I was riding. It was aggressive, and we were getting her done. And to still have over 50% battery, that's unreal. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're trying to get more riding videos done. We know people like watching us ride, and but we want there to be some sort of subject in the video. We don't want to post just boring riding footage. We like to talk about stuff regarding the SurRon. But as I mentioned earlier, riding and talking is not super easy, but we're figuring it out. So if you like videos, you want to see more like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and have a nice day.